Veganish.
So how do you do that? You have to pivot, you have to get creative, and you have to make a plan to keep your cash flow going. So the market season is ending. We're going into another quarter. We're going into another season.
How you doing? How you doing? It's another Market Talks. I'm Lamont,
I'm India.
and today we are. I don't know what we're going to talk about today. What do you want to talk about today? We only have a few more episodes left. We're not going to continue to do Market Talks. We're probably going to figure out something else to talk about. We're going to keep giving you content, but we're wrapping up the market, so. It's the end of the season, so Market Talk is probably going to end sooner than later. What do you want to talk about? Put her on the spot.
I think that we should talk about pivoting during seasons.
Okay, so that kind of piggybacks on the Dead Market episode that we did before. So pivoting during the seasons makes me think about as the season starts to end, and how do you continue to sell your product or your service after the season has ended? Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, what was your definition, or let you lead this, because I don't know what were on your mind with the pivot. That was a good topic starter, so what was on your mind there? Oh, here you go.
Well, I'm thinking just because the market is ending, you still have to find a way to make money for yourself. So how do you do that? You have to pivot, you have to get creative, and you have to make a plan to keep your cash flow going. So the market season is ending. We're going into another quarter. We're going into another season of life in general. So how do we pivot to still keep that cash flow coming in, still get our product out there in front of eyes, in front of people, and continue to fund ourselves? And I think that we're pivoting towards events, creating our own events. That's a way that we're gearing towards making the pivot from being at the market and people seeing us used to being here to making our own events where people could come, learn more about us, taste our sauce, and have our food and get educated by us about plant-based options, about everything sauce, about working together as a couple, bringing our baby wherever we're going, raising a plant-based baby. So I think it's important to be able to adapt and pivot when the season ends or when a new season is beginning.
Can you go into detail about what you mean? Because this sounds like a lot of stuff that we do, but I think the people want to know what exactly are you talking about. So you're talking about hosting an event and pivoting, or even some of our lifestyle brought to the forefront, but how do you plan on conveying that? What are the means? What are a few, go ahead, give a few nuggets out there, girl. What's going on here?
Well, I think first and foremost, if you're going to do something, you just have to do it through trial and error. You have to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And you have to be able to apply and reapply. So we're pivoting and we're going to do more events, which takes more planning than just coming to a market, setting up shop, and engaging with the people and selling your stuff. When you think of events, you have to figure out what you're going to sell, where you're going to sell it at. You may have to rent some space. You may have some space in your house that you can clear out and, turn it into your own space where you're not paying an overhead. You have to make sure you have the products or the services readily available for your event. So you have to have enough time planned out so that you're not missing anything, or you just have enough time to properly plan and implement so that you can execute and be successful in your event planning.
PPP, what does that stand for?
PPP? The PPP low?
No, fam, come on. How do you... We have better chemistry than this. This is crazy. Proper preparation prevents piss poor
performance.
Oh, now she knows it. Now she knows it. Right.
The 7 P's.
The 7 P's. Look, this lady is like a wealth of knowledge, but all of a sudden she gets in front of the camera and she's like, what? Like that pig off of Looney Tunes. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Yes, you do. But I encourage her because I think she does know a lot of stuff. She has a wealth of knowledge. So the pivot for the event or hosting is major. We're in 2021, not to date this, but we're in a time period where we're pretty much in the 21st century, literally. So all the stuff that you used to see, watches that talk and hoverboards or stuff, all that stuff is here, fam. So it's like, why aren't you in the space of virtual events? Right? You definitely want to pivot to a non-virtual event, but if you've seen paparazzi on Facebook selling their $5 jewelry, if you've seen somebody just on Facebook showing a fight or showing some, you know that there's a way to sell and there's a way to show some type of entertainment. I'm not saying fights are entertainment, but something to catch your attention, right? So you can do that. Selling online is as simple as you going online and then you having a call to action for the people to pay you on like Cash App. It's as simple as that. I mean, there might be some back end there where how do you get whatever I'm offering, but the transaction is you said something, they seen you, and then that you offered a call to action, and then they follow through. Now, as far as the events go, that's like know, like, trust. So people are getting to know, like, and trust you, and people are starting to understand the difference of who you are and your brand. Because sometimes people confuse your brand with who you are, and when you start doing events and hosting events, it's your brand that's hosting the event. It's no longer just you. I mean, it could be you in front of everybody, but usually it's like your brand presents something, or such and such is doing something at somewhere, so now you're seeing the brand pop. So you're putting more emphasis on the brand. I don't know how loud that is for you guys, but it's wicked loud for us. But sirens are always going to go on. We're downtown. So the pivot to me, I think so, well, to piggyback what India was just saying is mainly having another place to showcase or another platform to host your event or your service. So from vendoring like this, you may want to go indoors. That's somewhere you can go. You may want to set up your own indoor, right? So maybe you find somewhere where you pay a monthly stipend. Like here we have like Eastfield Mall. They also have like a Black and Brown Wall Street. There are several different places where you can attach to like a cohort or like a group of other vendors and vendor indoors, right? So you can survive the season indoors. We live in New England, so that's a way to pivot, right? Another way to pivot, like we just said, was doing virtual, right? So you can immediately just go Instagram live, start selling your stuff, or talking about yourself. You don't want to immediately sell people. You don't know if they want to buy, but you want to introduce yourself and have one of those. You can do a virtual event where you're having other people come. Maybe they speak about their product or their service, and collectively, like this farmers market that we're at, everybody has a chance to serve or pitch or speak about their product or service. And then the other way that I think India was mainly speaking about is you host and you have your own event. And in that space, when you're having your own event, you control the narrative of who comes and what you get to showcase, right? But that's good because you can do like 1 or 2 events a month, or you can do like a virtual and then an event, or you can attach to other events. So there's several different ways to pivot. Try one. If you don't have a website, then that's maybe a major pivot when it gets a different season. Maybe you convert and you get people from your Instagram and your social media to your own personal email list. Remember we talked about making a list. So that's a good way to start to pivot as well, where you're starting to convert those people who were just looking on your social media to actually engaging in either emails or a product or a service that you are able to offer virtually or online. Like for us, for example, so if you don't have an example, like we can cook. So we can do like a cooking class, right, virtually. Give you the list of the ingredients that you may need. You go out. It doesn't take anything for us to show you how to cook, besides a camera and us getting in front of the camera and posting that, right? Starting a YouTube channel. That's something that you can do without even putting your face in front of the camera, showcasing your product or your service and how it works, the nuts and bolts of stuff, right? How it stays together, how it ties together, and then put that content out. Even this, we talked about this in dead time or in downtime in the market, where you can create like a podcast or you can create some sort of content. So that's what we're doing now. We've created a small series, a market talk series, by just talking about what we know in the market, right? And then we'll add this to probably add this to one of our courses or something at some point in time. But right now it's up on YouTube. We're definitely going to use it for content to put on our social media pages. So there goes that. And then now people get to know, like, trust us from another angle, seeing us at the market live, or pre-recorded, but it was live. So those are all different pivots. Do you got anything else for a pivot, or we want to wrap this one up?
Oh, pivots are endless.
Pivots are endless.
Pivots are endless. You're always going to have to pivot no matter what you're doing in your business. As soon as you think you've learned and mastered something is going to happen. So you always have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And then I feel like even if you're focused on one particular thing, on the side in your downtime, you should always be working and building something else, because you don't know when something is not going to work anymore. At least you have a library of things that you can revert to and try and implement when something that you thought was going to go to plan didn't go to plan, because that's just life. You're always going to have to pivot. You're always going to have to be on top of your toes. You're always going to have your head on a swivel. So, yeah, pivoting is a process. Yeah, it's a process.
It's a process.
And what were you going to say?
I was going to say, for now, that's our pivot talk at our market talk. I don't know if India had much more to go, but we really don't want to make these talks too much longer than like 5 to 10 minutes. We want a quick little, here you go, stick with us. We have more tips and ideas coming along. I think this one was packed, filled with different pivots that you can work with. And until the next time, we'll have a few more going, so miss us, but not too much, because we'll be right back. All right? Have a positive one.
Peace.
Yes! This is the best sauce ever. I am so excited to see you here. I've been waiting all year to get this sauce.
You don't gotta wait so long.
I don't have to wait any longer.